Inzalo Yelanga, it's an ancient sacred place where people will come and do ceremonies and even ritual, if I guess. But it's what's more of a spiritual place than just a place, what we call a sundial. So from an aerial shot, this place is a circle. And with circles, it represents a complete life. So this was where people would complete their lives, and ancient kings were here to be initiated spiritually, not the cultural or the traditional kind of initiation.
These region here in Mpumalanga, where we know as the rising of the sun, is where our legendary Sanusi, Baba Credo Mutwa, came for his first initiations. And it is from this site where he was able to gain all the knowledge and all the wisdoms and all the art and all the philosophy that we are privileged to have in our banks, in our spiritual banks, in our cosmological banks, in our cultural banks. With us as a nation, and also as the world, and to the future generations that are to come.
Sila igoli sesithwasile sizinyanga. Wawungakwazi ukungena edrobheni. Wawungakwazi ukuthenga etolo, awuthenga emafastereni. Umuntu owayinyanga kwakuthiwa umthakathi. Wawungakwazi uhamba edrobheni ufaka ubuhlalo, wawungeke uthwala ungiyane njengoba nguthwele nje. Wawuphushela estradeni noma ushayiswe imoto, amabhunu ayengenandaba nawe. Umuntu oyisangoma ehamba estradeni esedrobheni ubevalele ejele kuthiwe nangu lo mthakathi. Ngahlangana-ke nobaba omunye ababethi uMalisa e-Alexander. Bangaphosisi kwaku-65. Lo baba sikhipha naye izangoma eziboshiwe emajele. Kuthe kusenjalo ngo-1968, hhayi-ke ngahlangana nenkakha. Yayibuya emazweni lengaphandle yayidukele khona. Ubaba Credo, that was 1968. Masitangana no Credo siboshwa la ngoba kungafuneki ukuthi sifake ubuhlalo. Manje yena kwakunamaketanga lawa amaketanga lawa ayefakwe emajokweni ezinkali ebagaxile la bethu uyahlanya. Bathi abakwazi ukukhuluma nalo muntu ngoba lo muntu uyahlanya. Kodwa imisebenzi yakhe sahlangana ngaze sahlangana wahlangana nobani wazwa lokho sathola ithende elikhulu lapha eJoskei mawuzowela uwela eJoskei ku-main road oye Pitori sakha lelo thende lapho sikhumuthi lapha kulezi ziganga abantu sebazi ukuthi izinyanga lapha yoselapha. Salapha lapho salapha no Credo salapha silapha abantu nabanye sebashona abantu engangisebenza nabo bonke abasekho. Salapha no Credo salapha sithe silibhizi silokhu silapha lapho kwaya kuhamba iminyaka ebuya lapho ayibuya khona sasingalambi sasiphethe openi undiblishi. Imali kwakubizwa ukuthiwa undiblishi. Yena wayebuye emazweni sithi ayithathele lamapeni awafake ebhodweni afake umuthi wakhe abase ngaphandle phenduka ofagoloni sihambe sothengisa enkwasile mihla namalanga. Ma ungasipha nje amapeni ayi-10 hayi sasinemali eningi sidla. Umsebenzi kababa Credo lo.
What happened in 1976 is that there was a riot of school children. They came to Deep Roof to come and build, to burn his house down because they said he was plotting with the government, as in ubatshela ukuthi government ukuthi hayi laba bantu yamathakathi or something.
So I know that the youth today looks at him different than the youth that used to in 1976. The youth, apparently, I'm saying apparent because I had to read it somewhere. They went and burnt his house, suspecting him that he was a spy or whatever. Like
looking at 76, the youth that actually tried to assassinate him because we are lawyer, you know, because of his practices. Back then and now, the youth has really diverted so much into deeper and spiritual and cultural things that are surrounding us. Some of the youth might look at him as one of the heroes, one of the storytellers, you know, as somebody who had stories that people didn't know beyond, you know, and some of the youth are not really sure who Credo Mutwa is.
Umuntu mayengena kuye eza kuye ubemtshela ukuthi hayi wena kunje hamba uyokwenza leyo nto. Wayenesiphiwo esikhulu kakhulu. Ubukhosi bakubo bakaMuthwa. Izinto abeyigqoka la emzimbeni ubungeke uyigqoke. Uyabona njengohlanya. Kanti lezi zinto yena uzigqoka nje zifunwa yilabantu bakubo. Ukuhamba kwakhe njengoba ehamba ufana nomuntu owahamba kudala kodwa ephila ngabantu abangasekho. Ngizwa kahle ba. And uma sebefikile ubekwazi ukukhuluma nabelungu ayithola into ayifunayo. Kodwa babenzima ukuthi bakhululele lobunyanga bethu. Bunengi ngila engufundile kuCredo. Engubonile ekwenza. Nebhilidi bengakutshela ukuthi ebhilidini elithile kunento ethile. Angazange aye. Isiphiwo ayinaso. Into ayephiwe yona abemfundile.
My first meeting with Baba Credo was many years ago in Kuruman when he was still the storyteller that he was. And we would sit around his feet and he would tell us many tales, not only of South Africa, but of Africa and the world. And I got to learn a lot about African spirituality from there. And when I became confused, just in terms of my own journey, I sought to go back, you know, to ask, you know, where do I go from here in my journey? I began in the Kalahari with the ancient Bushmen, our Khoisan indigenous First Nations people, and I got no answers. The elder there, Omian van der Beestes and Jansiku, drew 3 circles in the sand, which I could not understand. And then when I was very frustrated, he said, go to Credo Mutwa, he'll give you the answer. I drove another 500 or so kilometers, went through to Kuruman where Baba was doing what he does best. You know, he was telling stories. You know, he had a group visiting, I think, from many different countries. And I found my space while everybody was having lunch, and I sat next to him, next to the great sage, and I had a number of questions. The first question was, I had just been to Inzalayiolanga, to this very location, and I wanted to know more. And so I asked him, you know, Baba, what is it about Inzalayiolanga? Can you tell me something about it? And to all my questions, he said, I don't know, ma'am. This, of course, made me very frustrated. And the more I asked him, the more he said, I don't know, ma'am. And yet I knew he knew because I had just been here and we had just spoken about him, but I wanted more. And he would not tell me anything. And then the more I asked him questions, the more I asked him questions about Africa, the more I asked him questions about spirituality, the more I asked him questions about cosmology, and the more I asked him questions about what my place is in the cosmos, the more he told me he did not know. And more than that, he started getting agitated, and I started getting more agitated, until finally he lifted his staff and lifted all his implements, and you know, he said to me, listen here, Sangoma, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're going to die. And with that, he stormed out, went into his room, banged the door, and I was told to get out of the house. The interesting thing is I had just been on my initiation, my first initiation into African shamanism, and I was deathly thin at the time. What happened immediately after that is I immediately gained 5 kgs. So I do not know what it was about that meeting where I felt I got nothing, but what I was fed. And this feeding has fed me. It continues to nourish me today, and I find I continue to grow and to grow and to grow in the knowing that was ignited by our great Sanusi, our great shaman, our great seer, teacher, healer, Ubaba Credo Mutwa.
Negama lami elithi Andromeda ngaliphiwa uye ubaba omkhulu. Baba omkhulu bokulo muntu loyo ukuthi each and every mntwana ozalwayo ekhaya uzolethwa kuye aphiwe igama. Kukhona bo Orion, kukhona bo Rachel, kukhona bo Beata. Amagama nje awuyed nelam Andromeda bathu. Yazini laling frustrate kancane ukuthi igama elithini leli. Hayi man, Andromeda. Ngagugula. Ngagcina sengithola ukuthi okay, Andromeda bokuyini behind that. Yabona. So I'm grateful ukuthi nami ngaba iphathi ya leyo generation beyaphiwa babomkhulu igama.
I immediately realized one thing about Credo Mutwa when I went to meet him the first time. He's a doer. He doesn't just talk. Everything about just the experience of being it was Kuruman at the time. I could see this man is a man of action. There were sculptures. There wasn't theories about how the world was created. There were sculptures made depicting the stories of how the world was created. There wasn't theories about, well, one day we should grow our own medicines. There was a hospice that was functioning and was taking in people who were ill with diseases Western medicine couldn't cure, and they were curing that in there. So I realized that he was a man of action. So for me to best respect his legacy, I knew I would need to do something, not say something. It didn't matter to me whether people know him or I want to talk about him or I want to just say things about him. I wanted to do the kinds of things that I had learned from him. And that for me would be the best way to honor his legacy in my view, because it's inspired by him.
That place that Baba created, his first love, that he can be able to build a real village with his own hands using waste material. A lot of people never understood what was the reason behind that. Baba wanted to heal the people of Soweto using that village. Baba wanted to create a pool where children of Soweto could come and survive and learn and understand how to survive in this world. That place Baba wanted to create as a spiritual space. For an example, if you go to it, let's say you go to India today, if you want to meditate, there is a space that will go there and sit down and get a chance to connect spiritually, mentally, and otherwise. If you go to Ethiopia, you go to the church underground, under the stone, you can be able to connect. But if you come to South Africa, you come to Soweto, where the black children were brought in terms of slavery, I would say that they never had a chance where they could come together and connect spiritually. That is one thing that Baba created, that space. Even today when you go that is one of the things. If you are spiritually connected, not spiritually, materially connected, because of the those who are spiritually, materially connected, and the those who are spiritually connected. If you are spiritually connected, when you go by the yard, once you start touching the walls of Credo Mutwa Cultural Village, you will feel the change. You feel like, I'm in a holy space. I need to connect. I need to leave all the bad energies outside when I go there. I need to be clean and pure. That is why if you're not pure, if you go to that space, definitely it will kick out, you like it or not.
The fact that he built Credo Mutwa Village alone, that alone tells you something that, you know, if you have something to express or to some vision to show, you have to do it, regardless whether people support you or people don't. It has to be told, because Sonke here, we are here because there's a reason why we are all here. We come from different parts of dimensions or times where we come here to basically tell our stories.
Njengoba bisikhula ke khona namanye nabafana nje sigenge sibaningi
ozayo nje oza nje aphuzile yonke lento ubemuzwa kanye nje futhi abengezwani-ke notshwala awuphuza utshwala nje akuze usangena lapha athi nje into engazwani nayo and bokhona omunye umfana bakumbiza ukhopho-ke hayi kwaye vele nje adelela mayiphuzile angaziphathi kahle bhuti akwate ngendlela abenamandla ngakhona istofu lesi welcome dover abeyiphakamisa athi ngizokabha ngayo awungitshela insimbi engaka wena ayibamba ishisa lo muntu hayi bokukubuya-ke ungamkwatisa nje ananomkhonto wakhe nangawuthatha lowo mkhonto lapho-ke hayi siyabaleka sonke akekho ozoyimela indaba yakhe kanti futhi makujatshuliwe kukuhle hayi abenomusa abathanda abantu and manize kuye nize kahle ngenhlonipho hayi bukuba kuhle kabi nabelungu baphesheya beza kuye bahlale phansi abaxoxela izitori abeney'tori ey'ningi kabi engingazazi nami ukuthi uzithathaphi
In Diepkloof, here in Soweto, there was another gang that was terrorizing people. Way back, it was the 80s, if not 70s. Yeah. So my dad was looking at this. That group will terrorize people from the whole of Diepkloof, because Baba will say the whole of Diepkloof. So that gang, every time our parents couldn't go to work, because they will grab their bags, they will stab people. People will never even go to the shebeens. Baba will hear a lot of complaints that even people who were coming here at home to come and do the play, Slimela, they were unable to come because Amadamara will terrorize them. So they will come and say, even if sometimes they are lying, but they will tell Baba, hey, we couldn't come because Amadamara, they were standing there, they wanted to beat us all. Hey, my dad got so upset with these Madamara guys. Hey, but my mom told me, oh, Babako, you don't know your dad knows it. Your dad is a typical. My dad will never leave a stick alone. Oh, Baba Isakil, never. Oh, Baba was sitting in here in Diepkloof. Baba was sitting. One Saturday, I'm told, oh, Baba came here at home, and then he heard one of the cast members saying, my bag was grabbed by one of the Madamara gang. Obaba mobilized the cast members, the Noslimela men. Come, we are going to go attack the Madamaras. Yeah, everybody was afraid of this Madamara. Nobody could go next to the Amadamara because it's either there was no guns then, it was knives. They will stab the hell out of you, or they will beat. It was mob. They will kill you. So my mom was like, "Yo, Obaba." Then Obaba took a stick. My dad didn't like to put on shoes. Ne, he didn't want. He was that Zulu man who didn't like shoes. Obaba just put on the boots. Khaki clothes. He used to love his khaki clothes. Khaki clothes, a stick. We are going to beat the hell out of these Madamaras. They went out. They found the Madamara here in this passage here. The way those guys were beaten up by Baba. I'm told that Baba beat the hell. I was told that there were 20 of them. The other cast members who were supposed to support Baba in beating up the Madamara ran away. They left Baba alone with the Madamara gang. Baba had to fight 20 people alone just for the community to be safe. Baba beat the hell out of the Madamara using a stick. the Matamara ran away. Since then, we've never heard of Matamara, and since then, we never had gangs in Diepkloof.
Amabutho will sing praises on him because of the gifts that he had. Imbongi will say praises on him because of the high esteem which he had on the African continent. He can never work barely alone. He needed to be amongst Amabutho whenever he walked. Amabutho are very significant in a sense that they praised him, and as they praise him, it gives him more powers to be able to lead as a leader that he was. Amabutho sang songs and praises in isiZulu, and as that happens, it cheers him up, it comforts him, it gives him the instincts to go even further in doing what he did. Amabutho, even in the ancient days of Ushaka, wherever he went, he will go with Amabutho as a protector, as a shield to him. And that's what Amabutho Agamutwa signified or meant to Ubaba Credo Mutwa.
Some part of my myself wants to laugh a lot because a lot of people knew Papa as somebody serious, a person who's a Sanusi, was a Sangoma, not realizing that there's other side of Baba head. One, he was an actor, he was a songwriter, he was a director, he was a scriptwriter, and moreover he was a comedian. A lot of people know the side of him of being a comedian. Why I'm saying that Baba was a comedian, because of whenever you have to go, especially when he speaks, he will tell the man was a comedian. And he was so smart that whenever he speaks, he will always look down, thinking that he's not looking at you or not listening to you. But whenever he speaks, he will start going and say, something like he's eating something is nice. And one of the things that people never understood, in his pocket, he's always had some, I don't know how to call them in Schoa, but I would say jubes, because of that is one of the jelly beads, those sweets. So every time when he goes down looking like this, people will think that maybe he's thinking of something, but that will be a chance for him to have a sweet. And before he would say, sir, it's like, this nice sweet. Sir, how are you, sir? How can I help you, sir? Those are the good moments that we had with Baba. And most of the time, if we paid a visit to Ubaba, especially after 6, that is when we'll see how Baba he was.
When it's 6 o'clock in Credo Mutwa's house, when we were growing up, the gates will be locked. And Baba knew on how to parent, because how he monitored us as children. Baba will make it. There was a bell that Baba will put into the gates. That bell, there will be a thread from the gate to the house to Baba's bedroom. Once you touch the gate as a child, the bell will ring, and also the bell will ring into Baba's bedroom. And then Baba will come out to know that. Then Baba will know that one of my child is going outside the gates.
He used to love children who would say, whenever you are, make sure that you put a smile in the face of a child, then you'll prosper.
Bengisasemncane phela ngithi mina okwami nje ukuthi ekhaya ebheka opposite bengiphuma ngapha ngaphansi kwelokhozi kwefence ngiye kwakhe ngicala ngidlale ngamathambo akhe umkhulu umathi babebhizi bathapha indaba my children ngaso sikhathi leso uyabona ba uye bekatype yena libela amtshela bhali phansi umabhaliso script leso ngetypewriter mina ngibebhizi ngamathambo in ngelilanga le yimi lo sibuya elokhuzini esikole bengifunda eRoma sasemncanyana ngaka how serious masithi nangu uNkulunkulu
Singasebaningi abantwana angibambe ngapha omunye umbambe ngapha abantwana alibela zambili uCredo anganandaba kumkhulu uNkulunkulu igroup engakanani akababa into engithandayo umusa nesineye bekabathanda abantu abathanda nabantwana mina ngikhula nje kuphela kumkhulu wami.
Before he left the world, he actually wanted ukuthi umhlaba uyatho ukuthi your origins, know your origins, know your roots, because a lot of things are happening. Be aware of your surroundings. Just connect with nature. Nature will talk to you and it will respond to you in ways that are very miraculous only if you allow it to talk to you.